This content is based on telepathic communication between the ninth density collective of Ra and their conduit, Joe. Welcome to the Book of Anu. Planet Earth and humanity are heading for great change. Please welcome it. With the right mindset, change can be enjoyed, and it is both necessary and unavoidable. Many avatars prefer to live their entire incarnation avoiding challenging, life-altering situations. The concept of time causing aging and eventually death is the ultimate change. Many cling to the familiar because they know what they have, but not what they'll get. However, reality is a product of your mind, and you are essentially in control of events, at least in terms of how you react to them. This is an important distinction, as you cannot escape your pre-birth contracts written by mother souls. As avatars, you are dependent on your soul fragment and are ultimately players in a cosmic game. We say this with the utmost respect for the challenges you face on your path. As an avatar, you have more control than you realize. How much power you give to external forces is entirely up to you. If humans had their way, they would demand to be happy every day, relying on someone or something else to make them feel good. However, avatars are alone in their own universe and ultimately don't need other beings or events to bring them satisfaction. One must reach a level of consciousness where one has full control over one's emotional reactions. Given what we know about humanity, we expect the next few years on Earth to be perceived as difficult by many. In reality, you are heading in a good direction. Planet Earth is moving away from a long period of darkness and entering a much brighter path. However, to reach this future, the planet and all its inhabitants must undergo a process of profound change. This metamorphosis is driven by evolution and, more importantly, by the planetary consciousness Gaia. Resisting change means resisting ascension, and while it is possible to resist, it will not bring you joy. There is tremendous power in this change, to the extent that human societies will transform completely. The challenges of this passage stem from the conflicting emotions within the human psyche. There is one part that is open to change in some areas of life, but another part that refuses it. This inner fight is an unconscious battle for many. They might, for instance, support the idea of more equality and harmony in the world, but are hesitant to embrace change if it disrupts their current lives. To give a perfect example, a millionaire might support the idea of equality but resist paying higher taxes or the complete restructuring of the monetary system. The fight between the ego and heart will become increasingly visible in the years to come. Therefore, the concept of a new Earth will face resistance as cherished belief systems must collapse and transform for a new reality to be realized. The energy of the old world is not conducive to great transformation, as it is rooted in control, power, and ego. New Earth is based on hearth-centered living and requires a new, strong foundation built around a united collective. Think of New Earth as a circle where all are equal, whereas the world of today is a triangle with top-down rule and very few controlling the many. Indeed, the circle and the triangle represent fundamentally different geometrical symbols, and the societies they create are not comparable. They are built by and emit totally different energies. It's generally not possible to fix a problem by simply repairing the surface. One must start with replacing the foundation. It's impossible to become a butterfly and fly away while refusing to leave the cocoon. You must either stay in the cocoon or fly away. Making this transition even harder, every cell in your body yearns to fly away, but fear may hold you back from embracing the new world that awaits. What sets this period in your lives apart is that the third density game is up for renewal. Everything in the physical and semi-physical realms is progressing in an upward spiral through the densities. The status quo is not supported by the matrix. Ascension is a process following the consciousness level that has been attained on an individual and collective level. Each density has its own frequency band. There are no problems connected with spending another 26,000 years in the third density in an Earth-like reality. This doesn't mean that the society you live in today will be the basis for another ascension cycle. Rather, it implies starting over until you reach the same level you are at today. In other words, ascension or starting anew. These are the two options available to soul fragments and their avatars. We do not wish to dwell too much on what will happen to Earth in the third density, as our focus is on growth and renewal, signifying that progression is the engine of the universe. We understand your resistance to change and wish to convey the message that the coming years will involve dramatic and swift changes. In as little as 10 years, this planet will have transformed in ways that seem impossible to you today. These changes will be driven by the collapse of existing systems. The monetary system, for instance, will collapse and need to be rebuilt. This alone feels scary to many, especially those with much to lose. Know that there are brilliant minds working on solving this problem, and solutions are ready but not yet presented. People who own very little will find it much easier to transition to the next level. Large structures, such as superpowers, will also either collapse or transform. This is less problematic for small countries with modest national egos, but for those used to or aspiring to rule the world, this will be a challenging awakening process. The inevitable disclosure of extraterrestrial life will change how every human views themselves, their past, and their future. The more firmly held your beliefs, the tougher it will be to re-evaluate the basics of existence. Additionally, the energy and pharmaceutical sectors are two industries that will undergo enormous change. Many people rely on these structures not only for employment, but also for their sense of stability. You will soon realize that these industries could have been transformed 50 years ago, but technology and knowledge were never shared with the broader population. When all of these changes have taken place, you are left with an educational system that needs to be totally restructured. Thus far, your education has aimed at producing good workers to keep society running and to maintain the hierarchical pyramid intact. In the future, you need a schooling system that is conducive to raising the consciousness level of students. Moreover, religions will ultimately transform, giving way to a unified galactic spirituality based on the understanding that we are all souls engaged in the game of physicality. Homo luminous, connected to the stream of consciousness, is where you are heading. This transformation will make life much easier for most, but it will be a hard transition for some. This is why the next 10 years will be difficult, as what has been a foundation for millennia will need to be reinvented in 1 decade. As if all this weren't enough, you understand quite well that human wars will not come to a halt through wishful thinking. The raising of consciousness is ultimately a process that occurs within each individual. There will always be those who resist this change, seeking power and dominion over others. Therefore, an external shocking event is often necessary for planets in a similar state of turmoil as Earth is in. Please remember that even though Gaia loves humanity, she will not wait indefinitely for you to get your act together. The planet will shift focus to the next realm, the semi-physical fifth, whether humans are on board or not. The third density experiment on Earth is over. It's a done deal, and the game will end. The question is, will humanity join Gaia in the next realm during this window of harvest, or will you redo the class and try again later? We know that most humans who are on Earth to ascend will do so. However, Gaia is going to release a lot of steam as the planet clears millennia-old karma and starts anew. This happens on all planets as the seasons change. How destructive this becomes is connected to the collective consciousness level of the beings on the planet's surface. A higher consciousness mitigates the effects. Think of it as an autumn storm marking the end of summer. This particular weather report is eruptive and will affect the entire planet. Gaia will expel all negativity in a way that manifests as Earth changes. These changes are necessary for human wars to end completely. Gaia has her own reasons for these changes, which are not directly connected to human evolution. However, from our perspective, These earth changes are needed to push the human collective into a state where they can focus on harmony, unity, and love, shifting away from their ego into their heart. The winds of change will blow across the planet, dismantling the structures you once thought indispensable. You can survive without these structures, and if you're wise, you will choose joy amid the turmoil. Humanity in its current state cannot ascend as a collective without undergoing a period of hardship. The earth changes are not happening because Gaia needs humanity on board, but because the third density game is ending, and Gaia is shifting her focus to the fifth realm. The time is ripe for this evolutionary step, not only for planet Earth, but for the whole universe. One step up for all. Life in the third density on Earth will continue for a few more years, but will ultimately end as the planetary focus moves to those inhabiting the fifth density surface. We are confident that those of you watching this video and reading these books will join Gaia in the semi-physical realm. To secure your place, tune into your heart, love the planet and all its inhabitants, and allow your society to transform. You need to be aware of what is coming and resist the natural inclination to fall into fear and victim consciousness. You are not victims of change, but the creators of a new earth. This transformation is much bigger than you might think, and once your wars are over, you will be greatly aided by your galactic families. Good things are coming. Until next video, please remember that New Earth is created by you, only you. This is your starseed mission, and so it begins.